Hello everybody, James Donovan, I am Market Tips. Thanks for tuning in. This is a series of Backlink Beast tutorials, and the first series thing I wanted to shoot is what's going on in SEO in 2014, some of the things that the big folks are just kind of not seeing, the realities that I have discovered, and overall what will affect our world going into the future. And the first statement that I want to say is the world changes, you must change with it. Okay, and I'm going to primarily pick on Google because they are the biggest and the largest, and the reason why I am is because a lot of their algorithm changes and what they're doing, is a direct realization of money. Okay, and that's Google's mandate. If anybody knows that there's a publicly traded company, Google's mandate is make me my money. That's what their shareholders and board of directors is basically telling the employees at Mountain View, California. Now, how does that affect search? Well, if you look into the mindset of Google, being that the biggest dog that they are, and you look at their nearest competitors, which are extremely disorganized, being Yahoo and Bing, the issue is, if we don't have any direct threat and competition, then our own self is our major source of competition. That means our search results. That directly affects our AdWords revenue. Okay, and what they are doing at this particular point is that they're noticing that their AdWords participation rate is falling off. It's reaching its peak. It's actually on trend to go the opposite way. Well, why is that? Well, the smart thing to say is that from a outsider's point of view, it's because their policies are so strict and stringent that they've chased away a lot of advertisers and a lot of businesses. They don't have the capital to spend, $3,000 to $4,000 to split test an effective AdWords campaign with landing pages, AdWords quality scores, and all those things to be able to launch an effective campaign for the long run. So they rely on other means to drive traffic to their online businesses and their brick and mortar stores. Now, Google understands this, and maybe they don't, but the bottom line is rather than going out and making it more appealing for advertisers, they continue to make it more strict and stringent because they believe the war on affiliate marketing is more important than growth. And that's just a fact. And whether they really want to admit that or not, that's just the way things are. If you look at the behaviors of Google and some of the things that they've done with the YouTube comment and Google Plus integration, the Content ID, the last Hummingbird and Penguin algorithm updates, it's all designed to combat what they call as web spam. Well, what is the definition of web spam in this day and age? To Google, it is this: anything that is a direct threat to AdWords revenue is web spam, whether you want to agree with it or not. That's just a fact. And the situation, Google is smart because they've reached out and they've capitalized in other different ventures. They got the Android platform, the smartphones, they've got their operating system, they've got the Google Chrome TV, so they've got things going on the ball, and you look at Google Glass, you look at the pussycat robots that they're trying to sell to the military, which should scare some of you. Yeah. But, the bottom line is AdWords revenue still is a large portion of their EBITDA. Okay, it's a large portion of their revenue. It's over 70%. So if that falls off or continues to go, if it goes the other way, then Google's in some serious trouble. And it's going to take them a while to figure out how to get themselves out of it. And what this means for us as SEO, we got to figure out, well, how do we use their internal struggles and their basically their suicidal approach to business to our benefit. Well, there's some things that you can do and there's some things you can't do, and I brought up a great example of this, and you'll find this throughout their search results. Okay, this is what they kind of want. They want to be the search engine of large corporations, storybook blogs that mean nothing in certain sense, and this is a great example of that. Now, this is a general term, TVs, but obviously you're going to find nothing here but big players. That's just the bottom line. You got news articles in here from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. There's not a lot of monetization or search engine rankings that you could get into. There's no way that they're going to allow you in here, and that's just a fact with a lot of search results, especially when it comes to large AdWords, what I call the golden eggs. So when you're looking at search terms into the future and you're looking at ways to rank for search terms, you need to look at AdWords revenue and the cost per click. And what you want to do is be able to make that decision, am I going to be able to pass a manual review? And what they're going to be looking for is not just the very complicated stuff of off-page SEO, your anchor text, your link profiles, your link velocity, your content, your social presence, your user engagement, all that stuff that's really important for SEO, right? And that's still going to be a major driver. But now you got to worry about the AdWords monetization goblin. And what I would suggest to you is that what you should do in your sites and your structure is, a 50-50 monetization rule. Okay, look, if you're an affiliate for a company and you want to promote their product, great. But you've got to understand that if you are targeting this term with only an affiliate product, they're going to slap you one way or another. They're going to find a way. They're not going to let you into the search result. What you need to do is you need to put a equal balance of AdSense in on your website to be able to show those kind of those kind of interests. So you're not a threat to AdWords, you're an asset to AdWords. Why? Because they make money off the AdSense. So they have no problem putting you in those search results if you do all the other stuff right, because you know what, they know that they're going to get income off the back end from the AdSense, and they'll overlook the affiliate links just as long as they're not sneaky redirects, and that will actually improve your search rankings. Now, a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but this is just what I see now and what I am going to definitely see in the future if this continues. These are just facts, and we have to understand that and realize that. And I'm not downplaying Google or bashing Google at all. I mean, their problems are their problems. It's how if we want to get into these search results and we want to be able to have our content show up in the big G, we are going to have to change with them, period. Okay, until they reach the point where they're going to realize their errors of their ways and figure out some other way to grow their business rather than just having a self-proclaimed war on their self and trying to beat up on affiliates. Because really, ultimately, you can win the war, but at the same point in time, you're fighting the wrong battle. You're fighting the battle of trying to kill affiliate marketers, which were what made you big in the first place. And my opinion is they better take a look at that, and they better research ways to reintegrate them back into their platforms and make money off them. You look at their last publicly traded statements, their AdWords revenue were flat. Okay, they met expectations. I would say to you that there will probably be a revision of that later on, showing much more disparaging knowledge and news. Or there may be some creative financing and cooking the books behind the scenes, for the shareholders' purposes. Companies do that all the time. Meanwhile, if you look at Facebook, Yahoo, and Bing, their incomes are going up. Why? Because the marketing companies and the affiliate marketers and those small businesses are using them because their policies aren't so damn strict that they just chase them away. So that's basically the migration. There's you look at the YouTube and the Google Plus integration and the Content ID integration with a lot of people pissed off, angry, you could video after video, you can find people venting using profanity, blah, 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 blah. And Google thought that that was a wild success. Now, why did they think that that was a wild success? Because, once again, the objective was, I don't care what they say, I care what our bottom line is. And those decisions and those actions that they had done were direct relations on how do they grow their ability to serve adverts in all their platforms. Google Plus is an underperforming asset. That's a fact. So how do we be able to grow that asset when the product is substandard in the mind of the users? We force them to use it, damn it, and they will use it, or we will de-index them. I mean, that's just the thought process, okay? So monetizing your sites with a AdWords presence, which is AdSense, is a very, very smart move going forward. Now, I also want to point out their competitors, and they are disorganized, and it's a shame, because I'll tell you what, Yahoo's search results are not only really cool and they're very straightforward to get rankings for, but their customers are buyer intent customers. And I look at an AdWords campaign that I ran, and I look for the exact identical campaign I ran in Bing and Yahoo. I spent significantly less and had a huger conversion rate within Yahoo and Bing versus AdWords, okay, period. And I think it's just because the demographics of the people who use Yahoo and Bing are far superior to that of Google's. So this is something you might want to think about in targeting your search engine rankings and focusing on the smaller guys, and hopefully Bing and Microsoft get their act together and become a real big competitive threat to Google. The only way Google's going to change is if somebody's right on their heels. That's the bottom line. You know, nobody is going, if you have a company like Google that's managed by board of directors, shareholders, and then operational decisions being made by their legal department and their lawyers, you know, that's a recipe for disaster, you know, and the long-term effects of that will be quite devastating to them if they don't change. But right now, they have no competition to keep them honest. They have no competition banging at their door, making them be honest to themselves. So, you know, Yahoo and Bing, you know, is definitely something you should take a look at as far as, you know, search engine rankings. You know, their traffic is not as big as Google, but at the same point in time, look at quality, look at sales and revenue. If you're representing, you know, affiliate marketing, bottom line is all about bringing people together with great services and products in an honest fashion and making commissions while doing it, okay? And this is a platform that is definitely underused and overseen by a lot of people. They're chasing Big G. Well, I would suggest to you going forward that the only way we're going to make Big G change to where they're easy to work with and not crazy is by giving them a big source of competition and make them lose sleep at night because Yahoo, Bing, or some other search engine is knocking on the heels of their door and not far, far away in some little dinghy while they're binging this massive abusive empire that is going on now and currently. Okay, so those are just some tips and trades of what I see things going in the SEO future, in the SEO realm. Google is still a great source of traffic if you use it right. It's not just the on-page and the off-page stuff, but now you got to worry about the AdWords goblin. You know, use AdWords and AdSense to monetize your sites as well. Have an even mix. That's going to be your great chance for success into the future. If you're doing YouTube, don't be surprised if you have forced monetization. They'll rank your video, but then they'll slap AdSense on it and you won't get any bit of that revenue. So you might want to just put AdSense on it right away. And those are just things that you might want to look out for. As long as Gmail, you know, you look at your Gmail account and the promotions tab. Well, you know, a big part of Gmail, and I know they're thinking about this, is how do they find ways to monetize that more? They may change the way you look at your Gmail account where they have ads streaming all down the sidebar of your Gmail account. You know, the Google Chrome and things like that. If you own a smart TV and Yahoo got in on this, you're going to start getting PPV splash ads or pay-per-click ads on your TV. I mean, that's just where we're headed, and Google is one of those types of companies that they're going to do whatever they have to do to keep the money rolling in. And a lot of cases, you know, if they don't want to do it in a creative fashion or grow their business the evergreen way, they're going to do it through these harsh policy changes and, you know, make their search results appear to the way that's going to make them money. You know, this is just a fact of the way it is. You know, you could disagree with it all day long, but my suggestion to you is use this knowledge and just, you know, the world changes, change with it. Don't buck it, don't fight it, because you can't. You know, just use the things and the tools at your tips. The Backlink Beast is one of them, to get where you need to go in other different revenue sources, being Yahoo, you know, Facebook with Facebook fan pages, you know, Pinterest. There's all kinds of ways to monetize traffic and get traffic. Google isn't the biggest source on the planet, but if you're going to target Google, make sure you have AdWords integrated into your sites. James Donovan, I am Market Tips. Be on the lookout for the next video series. We're going to talk about why people fail with the Backlink Beast and what are the horror stories, and a lot of it comes down to linking and anchor text diversification and overall keyword targeting, which I was a victim of, which I gave you the example of in the video. And so be on the lookout for that. I hope this video had some worth to you, and I hope you have a successful 2014 into the future. Hit me up in the comments box if you will, and I look forward to your success. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Once again, James Donovan, I am Market Tips. See you in the next video. Bye.